Hi, my name is Amelia Crane, and I am the proud owner of a Chihuahua named Chloe. She is 5 weeks old now, but when we got her, she was 3 weeks old. This is my explanation on how to take care of a 3 week old Chihuahua. My prior experience to this was my family and I have had two Chihuahuas that were both 6 to 8 weeks old, which is the usual time, like the usual age that you should get a Chihuahua, because by then they already are weaned off food, which I will explain later in this presentation. And they were taught enough things from their mom. That is the time that you can safely take them away from their mother. Obviously, I took my puppy way too young from her mother, but that was because circumstance made it so, and she needed proper care, and her home couldn't provide that, so I did. She needed a lot. According to Purina, a dog food company, feeding your new puppy is one of the most important things you can do to make sure she gets off to a healthy start. And a proper nutrition has a big effect on your puppy's growth and development. So obviously, the main thing we need to do was feed her. We usually fed her in a bottle like this, and usually has a nipple. We fed her the brand Espalaca, and that's a puppy formula, and we fed her that for 3 to 6 weeks, which is when her teeth started completely coming in. We did not want to feed her before. We would feed her, according to S-Block, we needed to feed her 2 tablespoons every 3 hours. So that is what we did. In the beginning, she didn't want to eat. She was very scared, but after she got comfortable with us, she ate pretty well. I would feed her, not feed her. Well, I would feed her every 3 hours, but after feeding her, you'd have to burp her to make sure she didn't choke on her burps, on the bubbles, or anything, that she was okay. So then, when she got older, we started weaning her off her food, like off her milk, and we started feeding her food. To do this, you have to mix water and pet food. First, you start mixing more of the water than the pet food, and then after she starts eating more, to adjust her body to it, you feed her more food, less water, and then finally at the end, you don't give her any water with her food, just the food. This took about 2 weeks, so 6 to 8 weeks, and the weaning process was done. Now we feed her fresh pet food, and this is for small dogs, but it explains on the back in this paragraph how to feed a puppy. Make sure, if anyone is looking to get a Chihuahua or a puppy of any kind, that the food that you get is it specifies how to feed a puppy. This one specifies that you should feed them double what the recommended adult food is. And this says 5 to 10 pounds is 2/3 of a cup. My puppy is 3.7 pounds, so we feed her like 3/4 of a cup, which is around the amount she should have. If she seems starving, we'll feed her a little more. It took a little guess and go to figure out the right amount, but she seems good now. And in the beginning, we did feed her every 3 hours, but then when we started weaning her, we fed her every 6 hours, which is 4 times a day, and now we feed her every 8 hours, so 3 times a day. We started feeding her 3 times a day after 5 months, which is the recommended age to start feeding your dog. 3 hours, 3 times a day, 8 hours apart, according to Purina and many other dog food companies. I have highly researched this to make sure that it was okay. So, because we feed her that much, she is healthy and great. She is a very active dog. Animal Network's team explains Chihuahuas as being perky and excitable little dogs that enjoy zooming around the apartment, bouncing toys, and sniffing around walks, which is 100% true. My dog is very active, and she nips a lot. So we made sure that when we were able to take her on walks, we started taking her on walks. You can start taking her on walks, or your puppy on walks, after they got their whole set of shots, because my chihuahua was so young. Usually, not so young, but so tiny. Because my chihuahua was so tiny, you usually dogs, normal sized dogs, you give them 3 shots each time, so it takes less time to like do the whole vaccine process. But mine we had to do 2 times because the Centennial Hills Animal Hospital, Ben Trueworth, was worried that if she got too many shots at once, it would give her an allergic reaction or bad reaction to it. So we waited. After her final set of shots, we started taking her on walks, and we used this little harness because a collar, she is not used to a collar yet, and it might choke her because of how young she is. So we use a harness to teach her the concept of a leash and a collar, so we can later give her a collar but not have to worry about her choking herself or anything. So that is how you take care of a Chihuahua. Thank you for listening, and I hope that if you ever need to take care of one in your life, that you know how to, and that this was helpful. Thank you. Bye.